If you're over 60 and planning to fly soon, stop what you're doing and listen closely, because right now, you could be walking into traps that will cost you hundreds of dollars, waste hours of your time, and leave you so frustrated you'll wonder if travel is even worth it anymore. And here's what makes this worse. Airlines have quietly built systems that feed on habits many older travelers have. Habits you've spent a lifetime perfecting. Habits that used to mean you were smart, prepared, experienced. Let me tell you about Carol. She's 69. She booked her dream trip to Paris. She'd been planning it for 3 years. Within 15 minutes of walking into the airport, she was charged $160 in surprise fees she never saw coming. Her bag was 2 pounds over. Her seat? She thought it was included. It wasn't. Carol told me later she felt humiliated. Like she'd done something wrong. But she hadn't. It's not bad luck. It's not carelessness. It's design. Airlines have turned confusion into profit. And once you understand their playbook, you can turn it right back on them. Stay with me. Because what I'm about to show you will change the way you travel forever. Here's what they don't want you to know. Travelers over 60 pay up to 40% more in hidden airline fees than any other age group. That's not an accident. That's strategy. Because the airline industry knows exactly how to trigger habits older passengers have learned over decades. And they've monetized every single one of them. Think about it. You were raised to be prepared. To plan ahead. To pack for every scenario. To trust that systems work as promised. To value comfort and peace over chaos. Those aren't flaws. Those are strengths. But airlines have turned your strengths into their revenue streams. The good news? Once you see the pattern, once you understand the game, you can flip the script entirely. You can walk through that airport with confidence, control, and money still in your pocket. I'm going to show you exactly how they do it. And then I'm going to give you the counter moves. Let's start with the 3 habits they're counting on. Number 1, the preparation instinct. You pack for every what if. What if it's cold? What if we go somewhere nice? What if I need an extra pair of shoes? Airlines count on that extra weight, that extra inch, because every ounce over their limit is money in their pocket. Number 2, the comfort reflex. You've worked hard your whole life. You don't want to struggle with a heavy bag. You don't want to sit in a cramped middle seat. You want to board early, sit together, have a little space. That's reasonable. That's human, and airlines sell every bit of that comfort back to you as an upgrade. Number 3, the trust factor. You assume when you book a flight, your seat is included. You assume the gate agent will announce changes. You assume if something's wrong, someone will tell you. But airlines have learned that older travelers are less likely to refresh apps, check updates, or question what they're told at the counter, and they use that trust against you. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Because these aren't weaknesses. Once you see them for what they are, you can use them to your advantage. Let's start where most people lose money first: luggage. Trap number 1, the luggage trap. Tom is 68. He's a retired engineer. Sharp guy and methodical. He packed his carry-on the same way he always does. It fit perfectly on his flight to Denver 2 months ago. But this time, at the gate they flagged it as oversized and charged him $75 on the spot. He was confused and frustrated. Because he hadn't changed anything. Here's what Tom didn't know. Carry-on size rules vary by airline. Not by a lot, but by enough. 1 inch too wide, 1 inch too tall. That's all it takes. And those airport scales? They're not standardized. They can be off by 2 pounds, and I promise you, it's never in your favor. So here's what you do. Buy a digital luggage scale. They're $15 on Amazon. Weigh your bag at home before you leave and follow the strictest standard: 21 by 13 by 9 inches, 15 pounds max for carry-ons. And here's the critical part: always pack 2 pounds under the limit, not at the limit. Under it. Build in a buffer. If you need to check a bag, book it online ahead of time. It's literally half the price of paying at the airport. They charge you double at the counter because they know you have no choice. Tom now travels with a scale and packs light, and he hasn't paid a luggage fee in 2 years. Trap number 2, the seat game. Linda and her husband were so excited. They were flying to Rome for their 40th anniversary. They booked months in advance. They checked in online and everything seemed fine. They boarded the plane, but they were in completely different rows. She was in 32A and he was in 18D. When she asked the flight attendant if there was a mistake, the attendant smiled and said, "You can upgrade to sit together for $89. Linda almost cried. Here's what happened. Airlines now unbundle seat assignments. They separate couples on purpose and then resell togetherness as an upgrade. It's one of the most profitable tricks in their playbook. But there's a counter move. When you book, choose a window seat and an aisle seat in the same row. Leave the middle seat empty. Most people avoid middle seats, so there's a good chance it stays open. If someone does book it, they'll happily swap so they don't have to sit between you. Avoid seats near bathrooms and kitchens. Those areas are loud, cramped, and chaotic. Check for free seat upgrades 24 hours before your flight. Sometimes airlines release better seats at no cost just before departure. And if you're physically able, emergency exit row seats are often the best value. They have more legroom, and they're usually cheaper than preferred seats that offer nothing extra. Linda now books strategically. She and her husband have sat together on every flight since. Trap number 3, the documentation danger. Arthur is 74. He has a pacemaker and takes medication for his heart. He's been traveling internationally for 20 years and never had an issue. This time, flying into London, he was pulled aside by security and held for 40 minutes. They wanted documentation for his medication as they questioned his pacemaker. He didn't have anything in writing and he tried to explain, but they didn't care. He missed his connection. He was embarrassed, exhausted, and angry. Here's what's changed. New international security rules allow random checks for medications and medical devices, and if you don't have documentation, they can delay you, confiscate items, or worse. So here's your fix. Bring printed prescriptions for every medication you carry. Not photos on your phone. Printed paper. Old-fashioned, but it works. If you have a pacemaker, an implant, a knee replacement, anything metal in your body, get a letter from your doctor. 1 page. Simple as it saves time and stress. Here's a secret. When you book your flight, ask for senior passenger assistance. It's free and most airlines offer it but never advertise it. It gets you priority boarding, help with bags, and sometimes even expedited security. And keep a 1-page medication list in your carry-on. Name of the drug, dosage, what it's for. If something happens, paramedics or doctors can help you immediately. Arthur now travels with a folder. He calls it his travel passport, and he's never been delayed again. Trap number 4, the tech advantage. Martha is 71. She's not what you'd call a tech person. She has a phone, but she doesn't really use apps. She relies on airport announcements and monitors. One afternoon, she was sitting at her gate in Chicago, waiting to board. She looked up, and the entire waiting area was empty. Panicked, she ran to the desk and her gate had changed 20 minutes ago. The flight was boarding at the other end of the terminal. She made it but barely. Out of breath and shaken. Here's the truth. Airports delay public announcements to control crowds. The people who find out first are the ones using flight tracking apps. They get alerts instantly, and everyone else? They're left scrambling. But you don't need to be a tech genius to fix this. Download one app, FlightAware. It sends you real-time alerts when your gate changes, when your flight is delayed, when boarding starts. It's free and it's simple. If you want to go one step further, use GateGuru. It shows you airport maps, where the bathrooms are, where the quiet areas are, how long it takes to walk between gates. And if apps feel like too much, just Google your airport name and flight status before you leave for the terminal. You'll see everything in real time. If you have kids or grandkids, ask them to help you set it up once. After that, it runs itself. Martha now gets alerts before the gate agents even make announcements. She walks calmly. No more running. Trap number 5, the timing trick. George is 65. A retired teacher. He books his flights on Saturday mornings with his coffee. Relaxed? Thoughtful. What he didn't know. He was paying $120 more just by booking on a weekend. Airlines raise prices midweek and on weekends because that's when most people over 60 browse and book. They track your patterns and they adjust prices in real time. Here's the fix. Search for flights in private or incognito mode. Airlines track your searches and raise prices if they see you looking multiple times. Book on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Those are historically the cheapest days. And book 6 to 8 weeks in advance, not 3 months, not last minute. 6 to 8 weeks. That's the sweet spot. George now saves an average of $200 per trip just by changing when he clicks purchase. Now I want you to picture something with me. Picture yourself walking through the airport. Calmly. Your bag glides smoothly behind you. Perfectly weighted, perfectly sized. Your seat is exactly where you want it. Windows side. Quiet section. Your phone buzzes with an update before the loudspeaker even crackles to life. You're informed. You're prepared. You're in control. That's not a fantasy. That's what happens when you understand the system. Because here's the real truth: after 60, travel isn't about keeping up with everyone else. It's not about rushing or fighting or proving anything. It's about claiming what you've earned. Peace, confidence, and control. Tom doesn't worry about his bag anymore. Linda sits with her husband. Arthur breezes through security. Martha knows her gate before anyone else. George saves money on every trip. Not because they got lucky, but because they stopped playing the airline's game and started playing their own. When you understand the system stops controlling you. But before you go, I need to hear from you. If this helped you feel more confident about traveling again, drop a comment and tell me where you're heading next. I read every single one. And if you know someone, a parent, a friend, who's nervous about flying, share this with them. It might save them hundreds of dollars and hours of frustration. Hit subscribe. Because the next video will change the way you travel forever. Safe travels. And remember, you've earned this.